Good evening, everyone, all the way from Azusa, California. The past couple months for us has been a whirlwind. We came from Chiang Mai, Thailand, went to Bangkok, went to Singapore, to Malaysia, back to Bangkok, and officially now we're here in the United States. And last night was New Year's Eve. We did chanting and meditation throughout the night to enter into the new year. And then immediately this morning, it was right back to work, which we did a meditation class, followed by alms offering, giving the locals here of all backgrounds the opportunity to participate in alms offering. But one of the things that I want to talk about, because it is the focus of people's attention at the moment, is New Year's resolution, specifically goal setting. So this topic can be used for you for the rest of the year and moving forward. So the issue right now that many people are struggling with is, okay, one, I can set my goals, but then the second part is, how do you actually follow through on these goals and become successful? And this is a challenge that so many people are facing now. So in this video, I want to give you practical tools along with a unique look at this lens that may be helpful for you moving forward. But the first thing I think that we need to look at, because there are several conditions at play. The first question that I get asked is, one, if you set goals, you don't accomplish these goals, well, how do I get back on track? And how do I get back on track compassionately, where I'm not beating myself up, berating myself, and it does not help. But one lens that can be helpful is what we use in the monastery. And in the monastery for us is when we first enter, regardless of how old you are, regardless of the professional experience, the life experience that you have, when you take the vows, when you wear these robes, that day that you become a Buddhist monk, you are 1 day old. I get it. You're this age, you have that experience, but in this moment, you're a baby monk, brand new. And in the monastery, they teach us everything from scratch. How to sit, how to eat, how to sleep, how to walk, how to meditate. And they're teaching us a new realm that we're not used to yet. And this paradigm and this mindset comes from the spiritual realm. So you're new to this. So as we're going through monkhood, we would always make mistakes. And what's the first reaction? And the first reaction really is to beat ourselves up or to be hard on ourselves, because I should already know this. It should come natural. But for us is what guards us and what helps us is use the mindset of how long have you been a monk? And for new monks, and you've been here for 7 days, you're 7 days old. So when you can see it in this perspective and in this lens, you won't be so hard on yourself. So any mistake that you're doing, any new habit that you're trying to cultivate that you haven't been doing yet, then come back to this space. Check yourself, remind yourself, see, how long have I been integrating and implementing this new habit? Okay, you've been meditating for 3 weeks. So if you fall off the track, no big deal. Now let's get back up. You're 3 weeks old and we're developing new. So in any kind of category, any dimension or any habit that you're really trying to change, then come back to here. Be very kind. See the situation as clear as possible. Get back on the horse and let's keep moving forward. So this is one thing as you're building the habit that we need to look at. Because in this phase is just build the habit. The quality of how things turn out, the results, Don't focus too much on that yet, but keep going and keep going. So when we're developing our meditation practice in the monastery, for several years, we just sat. Every single day. Morning, we sat. Before lunch, we sat. After lunch, we sat and meditated. And in the evening, we meditated. And this went on and on and on and on again until you can grasp that routine and you can grasp that habit. So that's one thing. So now let's put this to the side. The other question, the other topic that I want to address is then moving forward, when I set these goals or these resolutions for my life, how do I increase my odds of being successful? And I think one reason why so many people struggle, especially in the West, is because there's no accountability and there's no responsibility. Because if your goal is to read 3 books and you don't read 3 books, no one cares. And it doesn't affect anyone else. I got a question from one of the participants who asked about making their bed for the morning, doing a morning routine. She wanted to wake up. She understood the importance of making the bed. She also understood the importance of developing a meditation practice. And she tried it. A few days, she did it. And then, as usual, a few days, then she skipped. And this would go back and forth. And she realized for her life, why is it that I can't follow through? But for me, I think one tip or one practical mindset that may be helpful for you is change your relationship to what you're doing. And what I mean is your relationship specifically to goal setting and resolutions. I think in our modern time, like I said, where people just say things and people don't have to follow through, and genuinely to the outside world, there is no big consequence. If you don't make your bed in the morning, what is it really affecting? It doesn't affect my life. It doesn't affect your neighbor's life. So for us, it's whatever, no big deal. But for me, it's be careful. Be careful because it is quite a big deal. And what is at stake, what is at play is not that you did these tasks, but if you can shift the magnitude of it, your life will change. And how do we do that? And the way to do that is to know, what are we really talking about? And what we're talking about in this case is about keeping your word. How many times in your life, every single day, that you just make promises? You just make a plan, you tell people you're going to do this, and you don't follow through. How many times, let's use very specific examples, that you tell yourself, I'm going to eat healthy, okay? And then what happens at lunchtime? You're not going to eat healthy. You're going to go the complete opposite right there. Could keep your word. How many times, or anyone out there, where it seems so innocent and we tell people, you know what, today, let's go have coffee, I'll meet you at 2 p.m. Okay? And then you don't show up, or you're late. And again, no big deal. I showed up anyways, so no problem. But for me is, wow. What is at stake is, again, you said something. You claim to put yourself out there, and then you didn't follow through and you did not act on it. And we have these kind of things over and over and over again, from our diet, from our relationships, about appointments, going to the gym, and the list goes on and on and on. We say we're going to do these things, and no, it does not happen. And on a given day, how many times do we break these small promises? And again, looks like a small thing, but for me it's a big thing, because what is really on the line is your self-worth. What's on the line is trust and respect for yourself. And many times when I'm meeting with people who are suffering before monk life in the therapeutic context, in the therapy room, people are suffering because of this. You can't even keep your word, and you just say things randomly. And then you wonder why, wow, I can't rely on myself. Wow, I don't respect me. Wow, when I say something, the chances of me actually following through on this, you know you're not gonna do it. And what happens is you start to erode the trust that you have in you, which leads to the respect, self-respect, the dignity you have in you. So again, these things keep going. And even in the monastic life, and we get same context. People are coming in, they want to pursue new avenues in their life. They want their lives to be better. They say these things, but now put it into action, you're not gonna follow through. And every single time that you betray yourself, every single time that you do not keep your word, be careful, be careful. So then now, how do we flip this around to use it to your benefit? And the technique really is, now when you're setting goals for yourself, know what is on the line. It's not just about you making your bed. It's not just about you eating healthy. It's not just about you showing up on time, but it's about you putting yourself out there and saying, I'm gonna do this. And it's about you fighting for yourself to keep your word, to be able to trust yourself and rely on you. One of the things in Buddhism that we always talk about is be a refuge for you. And what that means is no one can save you. I'm here weekly, bi-weekly, telling or sharing tips that can help to improve your lives. I can't do anything for you. And at the end of the day is, if you want to move your life forward, you got to take the tools and you got to practice it. And for us is then in this lifetime, come back to a space where you can begin to trust you. When you say something, you know you're gonna finish it, because that's important. And then, like I said, you start to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you can build on that. You know that if you set any goals, I'm going to finish this. And if you can come from that space, you're gonna be successful. But where does all that start? And all that starts is here. Small goals, small planning, small resolutions, and take the time moving forward. How do you use it to set up the rest of this year? Is then review of this past year. How have I not kept my word? How have I said I'm going to do this and then I did not follow through? What were the consequences of that? How did that feel? And then learn from that. And learning from that, then now for this new upcoming year, be careful. What kind of new goals are you going to set? Get still, get clear, set these small, sustainable goals with intention and go after them. And you're not just doing a resolution this year, But with the wisdom is this year, I am going to fight for myself. It's time. And it's time where the world out there is chaotic. Sometimes I can't rely on other people. Don't worry about the outside world. Let's talk about you first. And for this year, hopefully all of us together can continue to work on ourselves, where I'm just gonna set goals. I'm gonna complete these goals and I am going to celebrate it. And one of the things that I wanted to share and how we practice this in the monastery is regarding meditation. And the first few years for us, we just followed the schedule. We sat in meditation just, again, to develop the habit. Then the second part, as we start to mature, then a self-training tool that we use is now let's meditate longer. Some days it's let's meditate 2 hours. Some days let's meditate 3 hours. Some days let's meditate 4 hours and more. But when we do that is we set out the intention of I am going to do this for this day. And if you say, okay, I'm making a goal right now to set or to sit in meditation for 2.5 hours. Let me set my alarm clock. You sit in meditation. When you close your eyes, you better believe it's going to be a struggle. When you pronounce and you set a goal, and there's going to be challenges and obstacles, and this is normal. But I would say if you can, do whatever you can to finish it. Do not worry about the outcome. And this is where people get lost because you're thinking about the outcome. My meditation wasn't great. This experience, the result didn't turn out the way it needs to. I'm not successful. No, your gauge and your measure for success, it's already off. But really, our measure of success should be, I set a goal, I complete it. Wow, 2.5 hours. And it's so strange because when I'm meditating in the monastery, I sit between two of my brother monks, one to my left, one to my right. And these long meditation sessions, they're challenging. And some days it's so tough. But I make it a point where every single time I set these big goals and I complete it, you better believe I open my eyes and I'm celebrating. I literally am like, yes, I did it. I won. Today I conquered me. Today I set these goals. There are obstacles, there are defilements, there are dirt and debris in my mind. And today, I kept my word. I followed through and I won. And this, if you can do it on a small scale, continue to build on this, like I said, your life will change. So hopefully you can apply this, implement this, and any small thing that you accomplish, please celebrate it. Please celebrate it. Do not worry about the outcome, but what we're celebrating is that you kept your word. And tonight, hopefully, when you set these goals, you go to sleep. Wow. Be proud. Be proud. And lay your head down. And then the next day, go again. And do this over and over and over. Your life will start to change. You will begin to trust yourself. Whew. But again, this is just something that we talked about today. It's a little rant that I hope is helpful for you as you set goals moving forward. But as always, I just wanted to send you all my blessings, send you my greetings from Azusa, California, and may this year for all of you be prosperous. May you be happy and healthy and successful in everything that you do. So, Satu everyone. Thank you.